Colonel Frederick Chedham believes Labour is playing with fire when it comes to defence. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer is preparing to dismantle the UK's defence sovereignty if he becomes Prime Minister, in a move which will leave Britain under the EU's thumb once more, Reform UK's defence spokesman has warned. Colonel Frederick Chedham's remarks echoed those of party leader Nigel Farage, who yesterday claimed any move to align the UK with Brussels on defence would be a disaster as far as America and NATO are concerned. Labour's manifesto includes a commitment to seek an ambitious new UK-EU security pact to strengthen cooperation on the threats we face, a policy Col Chedham claims would result in Britain signed up for the EU's Permanent Structured Cooperation, PESCO. PESCO is the part of the European Union's, EU, Security and Defence Policy, CSDP, in which 26 of the 27 national armed forces pursue structural integration, a prospect which has already set alarm bells ringing among Brexiteers. Col Chedham, in an op-ed written exclusively for express.co.uk, said, Labour's proposed defence pact with the EU threatens to dismantle British defence sovereignty, devastate our industry, and cripple our democratic decision-making. John Healey and David Lammy are pushing a policy pulled from the ashes of Theresa May's failed exit deal. The EU's proposal is a bureaucratic nightmare. It drags the UK into the European Defence Agency, EDA, the European Defence Fund, EDF, and Permanent Structured Cooperation, PESCO. Participation was not the issue, but rather the strings attached, explains Col Chedham. He continued, take PESCO, for instance. It demands 21 specific pledges from the UK: scrutiny, adherence, endorsement, obligation, and direction. 18 of these require us to bow to EU scrutiny and follow their rules. 13 forces us to endorse the EU as a military authority. 12 bind us to permanent participation, funding, and political commitments. 8 interfere with UK government decision-making. These commitments are intrusive and overreaching. This setup hands control to the EU, with penalties for non-compliance. It's the same regulatory stranglehold we fought to escape with Brexit. The British public detests the idea of EU control over UK decisions, and Labour is playing with fire by pushing this. With just 9 days to go before the general election, and with Labour riding high in the polls, Col Chedham added, Keir Starmer must see the peril in his colleague's plan and ensure this EU defence treaty is buried. If he doesn't, it falls to former armed forces personnel and all who value UK sovereignty to mobilise against Labour. This is a fight for our nation's autonomy and democracy. Labour must not, and cannot, be allowed to drag us back under the EU's thumb. Mr Farage said, Sir Keir Starmer, along with David Lammy, wants us to join the European Defence Union. He wants us to get closer with the European Union in terms of our military strategy, which would be a disaster as far as America and NATO are concerned.